In order to configure the TechCare wireless system, we use the LS450 config tool. This software is intended to run on a Windows laptop with an available Ethernet port. If you need assistance configuring your laptop to communicate on the TechCare network, please refer to instructions in the Tectone Network Settings video available on our YouTube channel. I'm going to open up the config tool and select New Default Configuration with NC475. Once that configuration opens, it's probably wise to save your configuration with the facility name and date. I'm going to the File menu, select Save Configuration As, and give it a name. In this case, we'll call it Demonstration Video and save it. Next, we want to navigate to the Transmitters page and enable this system for a TechCare 570. Notice the network ID and channel settings. Usually, you will not need to change these settings, so I will leave them as default. The only time you will want to change these settings is when there is another wireless network in the area using the same ID and channels. So, leaving these things set as Network ID 2 and Channel 1, I will apply the settings, and when the box pops up asking if I want to randomize them, select No. Then, using the File menu, I'm going to commit this configuration to the system. In our case, that simply means I'm going to load it onto the NC475 appliance server. Once this is completed, I'll get a message telling me I have successfully committed this configuration to the NC475, and I'll click OK. When the NC475 has come back online, it has learned what repeaters and receivers are connected to it. So I want to gather that information by going back to the File menu and selecting Load Configuration from System. Once the configuration is loaded back into my config tool, I will see that the repeaters which are active will be marked as in use. In our case, for this demo system, we only have one repeater, and it happens to be addressed as number 0. Notice the file name has changed to Untitled. You want to save your configuration again, likely using the same file name you created before. For the next step, we navigate to the Locations page, and this gives us the opportunity to add some proximity maps that will be used to let the staff members know where the calls are coming from, what rooms or what locations. So I'm going to add a map that I have saved here by clicking the plus button and select Load from File. Navigate to where you may have saved the map you're going to use and upload it to the configuration. We must give the map a name. I'm just going to call it Map 1, but a given installation can have several maps associated. So now I have a name and a loaded map. I now need to plot locations on the map. Starting from scratch, I can add multiple locations at one time. In this case, the map we have shows 8 resident rooms, so we'll say those are rooms 101 through 108, and I'm going to add those 8 rooms to my list here by selecting Add Multiple. And in the pop-up box, fill in the range of room numbers. Clicking the plus button will add the locations to our configuration. Then I need to edit each room and plot them on the map. So I select 101 and click Edit on the details bar. We need to designate which map it's on, accept the change, and then edit the map and move the icon to wherever room 101 is. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for all 8 locations. We can also create a location for the repeater, and we'll call that 100 Hall. Let's say this happens to be located up here at the end of the hallway. For the next steps, we'll move to the Patients page and we'll configure our systems to use more specific terminology and the fields relevant to the facility. So the first change I can make is in the occupant term down here on Patient Settings. Hit the Edit button and let's change the word patient to resident. That's going to change the occupant term throughout the system. The resident information or the resident fields are what's going to show up when each person places a call, and the staff navigates to the screen to give them the detailed information about the resident. Some common things that a facility might want to see, depending on the type of facility, might be emergency contact name, and then maybe the emergency contact phone number. As you can see, as I create these fields, they're populated under the resident information. So this information is customized for any given facility and the type of information that they want to display on their system. After I have all my fields created, I can add my individual residents. To add a resident, we click the plus button on the residence bar and fill in the relevant information. Our first resident is Barry Babcock. Let's say his daughter is the emergency contact and her name is Brenda Babcock. Her phone number is 888-123-4567. I want to assign Barry to a default location. That's the room that he's going to live in. So we can say Barry's default location is room 101. If there were other locations created that Barry was also associated with, I could check them in this list here. This is supplemental information. The default location is required, but additional locations are simply options. I can also add Barry's picture. So now I've successfully entered Barry Babcock into the system. You will then add the remaining residents. We can do one more for this demonstration. This fellow's name is Dennis Decker, and his emergency contact is his son, Donald. Donald's phone number is 888-555-6789. Let's say Dennis lives in room 102, and we can upload his photo. You will continue this process, enrolling all the existing residents into the system. Hopefully it goes without saying, but again, remember to save your configuration often. The final step is to enroll your actual transmitters into the system. So I'm going to go back here to the transmitters page, and as you can see, we have some options here at the top. This one is Add Transmitter by means of a barcode scanner, and that's what we're going to do. I have a barcode scanner connected to my laptop. There's nothing very special about this specific scanner, but it does need to read both linear barcodes and the square QR codes. So after selecting that barcode, we need to designate it for the system type by selecting TC570. And then after ensuring our cursor is in the field, scan the device. All the information about that device will populate in the relevant fields. In this case, it is a TC570 device, and the device ID is 50502. That was loaded from the scan. Next, I'm going to copy the device ID and paste it into the name field. This way, the name of the device will match the device ID. It will need to be designated as in use, and the device type is an SF570 pendant. Then we're going to assign this pendant to Barry, and we are done. Commit the configuration to the system and load all of our custom programming to the NC475. After that process completes, pressing the button on the pendant will result in an alarm on the system for Mr. Babcock, who resides in room 101. We can even pull up the map and see where room 101 is located. Adding the remaining devices is the same process with only minor differences. To add a wall-mounted device to Barry's room, we simply scan the device, copy the device ID into the name field, and assign it to a location instead of to an individual. Remember to save frequently. So on all devices, we copy the device ID and paste it into the name field, and then we either assign the device to a given location or to an individual. The other thing we want to do on this page is assign the system's repeaters to a location. This allows the system to associate the location of the repeater with an alarm placed from a pendant. So in this case, I select repeater number 6. Go into edit mode and assign it to the 100 hall location we created earlier. After all your transmitters and repeaters are enrolled, we can commit this configuration to the system and our system will be up and running. Thank you for watching this presentation. Please visit us at techtone.com or contact us by phone at 800-327-8466 for further training options, sales questions, and technical support.